The Space Academy was a prestigious institution that brought together the brightest minds from across the galaxy. Children of all galactic races came here to learn the deepest secrets of the universe. However, humans had little presence in this academy. The human race had only a handful of representatives among the elite students, and they often found themselves under immense pressure. Among the new students, there was one child who stood out: Matthew. He was different from the others. It wasn't just his appearance, but also his quiet and withdrawn demeanor that made him an outcast. The strong, warrior-like students from Zelta gave him mocking looks, while the intelligent and calculating Telar regarded him with disdain. During the first few weeks, Matthew isolated himself, spending most of his time alone. While the other students excelled in subjects like space physics, energy weapons, and galactic history, Matthew quietly observed. No one could quite figure out what he was thinking or planning. However, strange events began to unfold over time. In the Academy's most complex problem-solving exercises, where even the instructors struggled, Matthew provided perfect solutions. The other students, jealous of his abilities, started to ostracize him even more. Yet, his talents caught the attention of not only the teachers but also the students. There was something about this boy. No one knew exactly what it was, but a sense of danger began to emerge. One day, during the Academy's most prestigious trial exam, Matthew asked a question about galactic history that left the professor speechless. What if there's a power in this galaxy that no race knows about? And what if that power has the capacity to destroy the entire galaxy? The class fell silent. The professor brushed off the question, but it left the students with lingering doubts. What did this boy know? The Space Academy was a training ground that endowed every student with numerous abilities. However, on certain nights, Matthew's behavior as he quietly researched in the library began to raise suspicions among the other students. Corian, a Zelta student, was particularly convinced that he was hiding something. Could Matthew possibly know one of the galaxy's greatest secrets? One night, Corian decided to quietly follow Matthew. He hid behind the desk where Matthew was working alone, deep within the library. Corian's heart raced. Something was amiss. The texts Matthew was reading contained sources filled with ancient and dangerous knowledge, not accessible to ordinary students. Matthew studied an ancient galactic text for a while. His fingers glided over the holographic screen, and suddenly, a map appeared. This was no ordinary map. It marked a region in the galaxy's most remote corners. Corian couldn't see the map clearly, but the words Matthew spoke echoed in the library like a cold wind. Here. The power is hidden. A force unknown to anyone that could destroy the galaxy. Corian was filled with horror, but he couldn't move. At that moment, Matthew's voice rang out again, this time turning to Corian. I knew you were watching me, Corian. Corian's throat tightened. Matthew's eyes were fixed on him from the darkness. He knew he was scared. He stepped a little closer and continued in a calm voice. I am the only one who knows this secret. If you tell others, not only you but the entire galaxy will be in danger. But if you help me, we can protect the galaxy together. Despite the fear in his heart, Corian took a deep breath in the face of Matthew's determination. He felt that Matthew was telling the truth. But if this secret could indeed destroy the galaxy, what should he do? Should he protect his own race and friends, or side with Matthew? They decided to act together. However, this secret would trigger a much larger war. In the shadows of the library, other eyes were watching them. In the morning, Matthew and Corian participated in training drills with their student group in the Academy's training field. This drill would result in a new crisis amidst the existing tensions with other galactic students. The Zelta and other galactic races had heard rumors about the secret Matthew was hiding and believed he was dangerous. As the drill began, Alor, a Zelta student, and his group had put Matthew under surveillance. The Zelta were a powerful race known for their warrior nature, and Alor, as the group leader, was determined to confront Matthew. Various holographic enemies appeared in the training field, and all the students took their battle positions. However, Alor's plan was not only to defeat the enemies but to corner Matthew. Alor and 3 Zelta students approached Matthew, surrounding him. With holographic weapons in hand, their eyes were sharp and threatening. Alor smiled at Matthew. We know about this secret, human. If you don't tell us what you're hiding, We will eliminate you under the guise of this training drill. No one will notice. Matthew had already realized their trap. He quickly scanned the enemies surrounding him. As the three Zelta prepared to capture him, Corian was watching from a distance. He had little time to intervene in this struggle. While everyone appeared to be fighting virtual enemies during the drill, this confrontation was real. Allor stepped forward, drawing an energy sword. I'm asking you one last time, human. Reveal the secret, or I will end you here. Matthew maintained his composure, squinting his eyes as he looked at Allor. This secret is solely under my control. If you kill me here, you risk the destruction of the galaxy. Allor hesitated for a moment, but then raised his sword. Just then, Matthew rolled to the side in a swift move, dodging Allor's attack. The sword struck the ground with a loud thud. Matthew quickly got to his feet and, without losing a second, drew his own weapon. The battle began. Matthew's reflexes were swift and precise. As the three Zelta students attacked him simultaneously, he parried one attack and struck back at another. Weapons clashed, and sparks flew on the holographic ground. While the Zelta attempted to corner Matthew with hard blows, his mind was filled with strategy. He maneuvered swiftly, taking one student down and dodging the attack from another. Allor took a step back, shouting in anger, "I didn't know you were this strong." Matthew paused for a moment, looking into Allor's eyes. "My power runs deeper than you can even comprehend," he said. It was time to end the fight. Quickly activating his energy shield, he made one final move that brought all the Zelta students to the ground. The training field fell silent. The other students watched the duel in astonishment. Matthew walked over to Corian and fixed his gaze on him. "They now know my secrets. But this is just the beginning." Corian silently nodded. The first sparks of the Great War in the galaxy had been ignited in this training field. And this secret was the beginning of a conflict that would forever change the galaxy. After the conflict with the Zeltans, Matthew had drawn attention at the academy. Other students had learned his secrets, and that secret was no longer solely in his control. The Zeltans had become openly hostile, intensifying their animosity toward him. Everyone was curious about one thing. Did Matthew really possess the power to destroy the galaxy? The next day, the Academy's top officials summoned Matthew to a room for questioning. Corian waited anxiously outside. Things were spiraling out of control. When Matthew entered, he met the gaze of the commanders before him with determination. Among the officials was General Theros, the father of Allor, who couldn't bear the shame of his son's predicament. "Human child, we have serious doubts that you are hiding a secret that threatens the galaxy," Theros stated. "Tell us what this secret is. Otherwise, we cannot allow you to remain at the academy." Matthew replied calmly, "This secret is far greater than you can understand. If it falls into the wrong hands, not only the galaxy but the entire universe will be in danger." General Theros squinted his eyes. "Are you threatening us?" Matthew took a deep breath and turned his gaze to the other commanders at the table. "This is not a threat. It's merely a warning. But if you don't believe me, you will find yourselves too late." At that moment, the walls of the room began to tremble. Alarms started ringing. Matthew's expression hardened. He immediately realized something was wrong. Corian burst in, breathless. "Matthew, something is happening outside." General Theros jumped to his feet, yelling angrily, "What's going on?" Matthew quickly headed for the door. "We don't have time. The enemy is here." In the sky above the academy, a massive warship had appeared. The Krylons, one of the most powerful warrior races in the galaxy, were launching an attack on the academy. They were after the secret Matthew held and would stop at nothing to obtain it. The students and teachers of the academy quickly took up defensive positions. Unlike the holographic drills, this time real combat had begun. As Matthew and Corian ran toward the academy's defense center, soldiers were rapidly descending from Krylon warships and launching their assault. Corian shouted, "How are we going to stop such a massive attack?" Matthew focused on the attackers. "This is the secret that will destroy the galaxy. The Krylons will try to use it. If it falls into their hands, we will all be doomed." The first clashes between the Academy's students and the Krylon soldiers erupted. The Krylons were equipped with high-tech armor and heavy weapons. They stormed through the Academy's corridors. Despite the students' efforts to apply all the strategies they had learned in holographic training, many panicked in the face of this brutal reality. Matthew drew his weapon and began advancing toward the Krylon soldiers alongside Corian. As the Zeltans fought back against the Krylons, Matthew charged toward the nearest group of attackers. One Krylon soldier hurled a large laser ball at Matthew, but he quickly dodged to the side, narrowly escaping the blast. He launched a counterattack, shattering the Krylon soldier's armor and sending him crashing to the ground. Corian stayed a safe distance behind Matthew, providing support. When another Krylon soldier aimed a heavy weapon at Corian, Matthew lunged forward without hesitation and disabled the Krylon's weapon. "We need to move faster," Matthew shouted. The central defense point of the Academy had become the site of the fiercest fighting. The Krylon soldiers were trying to seize the secret hidden in a concealed room within the Academy. As Matthew and Corian managed to slip through the enemy lines to reach the center, they saw the Krylon commanders approaching the room. The armored commanders advanced toward the door with superhuman speed. Matthew and Corian tried to intercept the Krylon commanders. The most powerful leader of the Krylons pushed them back with a massive energy shield. Matthew realized he couldn't resist the shield's power, but he had a plan. "Corian, create a distraction," he yelled. Corian opened fire on the surrounding Krylon soldiers, while Matthew quickly examined the commander's shield. He scanned the energy source with his eyes and found its weak point. As the commander approached Matthew with heavy strides, Matthew suddenly dove to the ground and fired a laser shot at the energy source. The shield collapsed abruptly. The Krylon commander charged at Matthew with a furious scream, but Matthew swiftly maneuvered, piercing through the commander's armor and bringing him down. Meanwhile, the Krylon soldiers had breached the door they were trying to enter. They were only seconds away from reaching the secret. Matthew pulled Corian closer and launched one last effort forward. "We cannot let them reach it." Matthew and Corian launched a relentless assault against the Krylon soldiers who were pouring through the door. The pair took down enemy after enemy while the Academy's defense systems kicked in. But the Krylons weren't giving up. If they reached the secret, they would gain the power to annihilate the galaxy. As Matthew took down the last Krylon commander and closed the door, he took a moment to catch his breath. But the battle was far from over. The Krylons had retreated but were preparing to attack again. Matthew turned to Corian, his expression resolute. "There's only one way for us to win this war." Corian looked at Matthew in disbelief. "What will we do?" Matthew closed his eyes tightly and took a deep breath. "I will use this secret. But it's very dangerous." Matthew understood it was time to harness the secret that could destroy the galaxy. The Krylons' retreat indicated that they were preparing for an even larger assault. If this secret was not used, the entire galaxy could fall under Krylon control. Matthew approached the terminal in the room, his fingers trembling with determination as he touched the screen. Corian stood quietly beside Matthew. "Are you really going to do this?" he whispered. Matthew locked eyes with Corian. "This is the only way to save the galaxy." As Matthew activated the secret, a powerful energy wave erupted over the Academy. The Krylon warships began to explode one by one under the influence of this immense energy. The ships shattered in the sky amid brilliant blasts. The Krylons were defenseless against this force. The galaxy had been saved from great danger, but Matthew knew that the cost of this power would be steep. I hope you had a good time. If you liked my story, do not forget to comment and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye. See you in the next story.